Okay, welcome to the Bears Hall of Discipline today. And welcome to Bears Bible Building and Bodybuilding. So we're going to do Bible building today. And another time you check in, it might be bodybuilding. So today, Bears Bible building. We're going to build up the Word of God in our souls, our human spirits, our what's us. And we're going to do that by the study of the Word. And that's the best way. It'll turn you from a mouse, a weasel, a rat person, into a lion and a lamb all rolled up in one, into a bear. Because that's what Jesus does. His relationship with you transforms you into something that you not even were when you were a teenager or high school or college or young adult. He's going to transform you into something alive and fresh. And with that, we get to 1 Samuel, chapter 21. Picking up the story with David and his unfortunate escapades. I say they're unfortunate because they're hard to understand, hard to explain how they could be allowed to go on, but that's just the way things were. Things happened. And they were allowed to happen because that's the way life was. Things haven't transpired according to God's plan, and things had to just play out. And so here we go. And you'll see what I mean as we move on here. David was a righteous man, period. And he was subject to a king that started out righteous and went wicked really bad and really fast. And I guess if you and I were God, we'd say strike Saul down now. But that's not the way God works. He lets things play out. And we do have a mascot here, by the way. We have a mascot that he's like a ranger that's never caught off his guard. He just never caught off his guard. He's always on duty. And I like that about Canute. He's always on duty. Sometimes Daddy Bear falls asleep in his chair, but even if Canute falls asleep in his chair, he's up in the flick of a finger. Well, are you finished? Okay, he's finished. And thank you. Thank you for notifying me of people around. 1 Samuel chapter 21. Then came David to Nob to Ahimelech, the priest, and Ahimelech was afraid at the meeting of David, and said unto him, Why art thou alone, and no man with thee? David said unto him, The king hath commanded me to go on business, and hath said unto me, Let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send thee. And what have I commanded thee? Don't let anyone know about it. And so I have appointed my servants to such and such a place. Now therefore, what is under thine hand? I pray thee, may I have 5 loaves of bread, and a gift, if possible. And the priest answered and said to David, There is no common bread here under mine hand, but there is hallowed bread if the young men are clean. In other words, they have kept themselves contrite and repentant before God. No killings today, no, assaults, whatever. And uncleanness all the way around. David answered the priest and said unto him, Of a truth, the lads and I have been clean these 3 days, since I came out, and the vessels of the young men are holy, and the bread is in a manner common, yea, though it were sanctified the day in the vessel. So the priest gave him hallowed bread, for there was no bread but the showbread that was taken from before the Lord to put hot bread in the day when it was taken away. Now a certain man of the servants of Saul was there that day, detained before the Lord, and his name was Doeg, an Edomite, the chiefest of the herdmen that belonged to Saul. Now it's kind of interesting, this Doeg person was a servant of Saul, and he opened his pie hole and caused a lot of good men to die. We'll see that later on. David said unto Ahimelech, Is there not here in thine hand a spear, a sword? For I have neither brought my sword nor my weapon with me, because the king's business required haste. So David's pulling out all the stops, The king didn't send him on none of these. So he's created this big happy puppet show, and he did. This is a man of war. I don't know why. He has many men with him. But he created this happy puppet show instead of, just coming as a marauding group. The Bible just tells us like it is. Doesn't explain it, doesn't give us all the whys and becauses. It just tells it like it is. And this is where we are at in history here. And the priest said, The sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom thou showest, thou slayed in the valley of Elah. It is here wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. If thou wilt take it, for there is no other save that here. And David said, There is none like it. Please, I pray thee, may I have it. And so he took it. And David arose and fled that day for fear of Saul, and went to Achish, the king of Gath. And the servants of Achish said unto him, Is not that David the king in the land? Did they not sing one to another of him? In the dances, this is the dance that Saul hated, the song. Saul has slain his thousands, and David has slain his 10,000s. That was the beginning of Saul hating David, because David was such a great warrior. But now we see David on the run from the wrath of the king. And David laid up these words in his heart, and was sore afraid of Achish, the king of Gath. And so David did another happy puppet show here, and he altered his behavior before them. And he feigned himself mad in their hands, and scrabbled on the doors of the gate, and let his spittle fall down upon his beard. Then said Achish unto his servants, Lo, ye see the man, he is mad. Wherefore then have ye brought him unto me? Have I need of madmen, that ye have brought this fellow to play the madman in my presence? Shall this fellow come into my house? We learn several things here in this situation. Number one, David had a beard. If you see a lot of the Bible story kind of pictures and stuff, you always see David kind of a young lad, clean-shaven, short hair. He more had long bare hair and a big bare beard. And he was probably burly. Their version of weights and, weightlifting and rock lifting and that kind of thing. He trained for war, kept himself tight. And yet, in this situation, I don't know, maybe to protect his men. He didn't want to see a battle, like a handful of Vikings dumped into a camp of 1 million of Arabs to massacre. Don't really know. So we learned some things here. David knows how to do a good happy puppet show, and happy puppet shows are good. If you want to teach your kids, family, skit and kind of teach them a principle, doing a nice happy puppet show skit really helps it sink in. But in this situation, in the real life situation, kind of like the actors on the movies and the shows and radio theater, they do happy puppet shows so that we believe something. And then David did this. Can't explain it. The Bible simply tells us what happened, the truth as it is. God don't make excuses for people. When they do the wrong things, they do the wrong things. When they do the right things, they do the right things. So they had plenty of mad people back then, and they didn't have institutions to tuck them in. They pretty much just let them drift around, and they were just street people. Now we round them up and put them in institutions and feed them with, Thorazine and medicines that, make them kind of out of it, so they're not really in control of anything. So that's just the way it is. Okay. So 1 Samuel chapter 21. And 1 Samuel 21 really should be 21 and 22, but we're going to stick with the chapter segmentation. And we'll pick up in chapter 22 next time and pick up this very interesting story. And God bless you. And I hope you learned a little something today. And until we meet again, God bless you. And may the Word of God turn you into something great in God's eyes. God bless you, friends. See you next time.